Welcome to the Accounting Arc Podcast, where analysis, reaction, and comedy collide to tackle the big topics from the world of accounting and beyond. Join our trio of transformation agents as they discuss the hottest topics in and out of the profession, from breaking down industry trends, to reacting to everyday events, to uncovering the hidden humor in numbers. With wisdom, insight, and a dash of levity, they're proving that accounting isn't just about the numbers. It's about life. Because after all, accounting is in everything. The Accounting Arc Podcast starts now.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the ARC Podcast with Donny, Liz, and myself. We've got a juicy topic for you this round. We are going to talk about accounting firm red flags, the things that will tell you this is probably not the firm that I want to join. So, the list is long, that's for sure. And I think, when I think about red flags, obviously there's a lot of technology components that come into it as far as what technologies are being used and even internally with the firm. Liz, Donnie, what are the things that come to mind for you with red flags?
I think tech is a big thing, right? We have all dealt with firms that are like, no, we do that because that's the way we do it, right? Or like the Sally joke in audit, just because that's the same as last year. And accountants are in a lot of ways just taught to like not think at the beginning of careers in large firms, and that's really bad. That's a giant red flag. And there's so many efficiencies we can gain from, just looking at it from a different perspective and having a younger generation come in and think about it from a technological perspective. It's huge and should be respected, not belittled. It's a big red flag as well.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think about when I started my career in the late 90s, one of the things that firms would market was the size of computer processor that they were issuing for your computer now. And so now I think about now it's like if you're leveraging cloud computing or, what are the things that and even at this point in our careers, is leveraging cloud computing a red flag or a green flag? I feel like if that's at the top of the list of reasons why your technology is great, that's probably maybe a red flag.
They should have started that a long time ago. But I appreciate the historical reference. That was fun. Sorry, I was in middle school at that point. I wasn't thinking about compute power for CPAing. But I was thinking about having fun in the world and traveling. And one of the things I experienced a lot in my early career was not being allowed to take PTO. I don't know if you guys had that experience as well, but there were firm policies around 30 to 60-day requirements to request it. And then if you requested it, a lot of times they would deny pieces of it or say it's too long or, whatever else, because whatever job you're on, whatever audit has to be issued. And
yeah, or blackout dates when PTO was not
prohibited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's where there's this whole popularity around unlimited PTO.
Mhm.
And while it might sound good, sometimes you really got to ask the questions, and not of the HR person, but maybe of the actual people that are there. Like, can you really take
Right.
unlimited PTO? Like,
What is the process and what are the requirements around it? Like, if someone else is on vacation, does that in our office, does that mean I can't take it? Because, if there's enough people and you have to have everyone else there, it gets really, really hard to schedule, right?
Well, and that along with not only what is the process, but is that process kind of going back to the internal technology processes? Is that process I have to fill out a log entry on something, I have to send an email, or do I go into the HR system and request time to take
Right.
off? What do those systems look like that even support the mechanism? for time off.
Right.
Well, not
Well, and then
just time
sorry, go
off,
ahead.
like, sorry, not just time off, but like a whole bunch of the HR systems. Because that's actually, I would say that I see a lot of firms that don't have automated HR systems. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit of cobbler's children type of a problem, but I also feel like at this day and age, all of this stuff should be, and this is stuff you see at the very beginning, all of this should be automated. I shouldn't be
Mhm.
submitting a paper resume or even a paper all the W forms, payroll forms and everything.
The W
The
form.
W's, the W forms. I like that.
Yeah. It should be a good process. So one of the things I think that has taken me a long time to unravel and work through personally has been, unresolved corporate trauma. And while it was happening, I could not tell you that was what was happening. But things like, my direct supervisor taking credit for my work and not telling anybody and being like, oh yeah, like to me, I know you did it. Like you did a good job. And also, this is how you progress. Like you make everyone else look good, and eventually it'll come down to you, right? Or, other things like if they messed up, blaming me and then forcing me to work incredible overtime to make up for their inefficient management. Like that happened a lot to me. Like I worked so many all-nighters because of people that couldn't manage work or communicate deadlines effectively to clients and refused to actually be organized and procrastinated. And that was all billed as like, you're doing a really good job. Like you're paying your dues. You are so loyal. Like we really appreciate that we can always rely on you. Like you're the one that gets shit done. Like things like that, that just was a rhetoric that, psychologically speaking works, right? Because you're being praised, you're given validation, you're told like, this is the way to do it. Like this is what everyone does. Like this is the industry. Just like get used to it, suck it up, get through it, and everything will be okay. Like that is not okay. That is a giant red flag, and it's something people don't talk about a lot in our industry.
I actually need to go meditate right now because you just gave me some serious PTSD. Like,
Right?
it's really true. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I literally like my hair was standing up as you were talking about some of those examples because I can remember them clearly. I remember one Christmas Eve getting called back into the office and it wasn't my fault. It was my manager's fault, but it all fell on
Mm-hmm.
me. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. And, I think that that's something that we tend as we, grow up, as we, age in general, to kind of repress those types of memories and be like, it was fine. Like I was doing a good job, like whatever. They didn't mean anything by it. But at the end of the day, like that's not good. It's not good for your psyche. And it's not good to treat people like that. And like then, you know, propagate this idea that it's okay to treat people like that. Like that's not okay.
Yeah, but they
When I
took me
think
out to
like
breakfast on Monday, so it was fine.
Yeah. And they bought you alcohol at night and probably provided dinner and maybe even dry cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
made me think about and it doesn't necessarily have to be in that negative context, because the other one to me would be we work on this project and we're like, look, we stayed up all night, we got this done. It's viewed as a positive thing. And maybe, yes, the team pushed and got something accomplished, but should we really be having to do these types of things? Because that's so not sustainable.
No, not at all. Like if you have to pull an all-nighter to finish a job in the time it was promised, the time that was promised was insufficient, like
So
hands
many
down.
elements of just, yeah, failed management when those types
Right.
of things happen, without a doubt.
And failed resource planning and purposeful overburdening. Like, I mean, we had billable hour goals at one of the firms I was at that were higher than a standard work year. So, like, a standard work year is 2,080 hours. We had billable goals that were 2,200, I believe, a year. So, like, you're already expected to work 120 hours over, but that's billable time. Like, you still have to check your email. Like, like, you can't physically work that many hours in a normal full-time schedule. So you're working a minimum of 45 to 50 hours a week just to get in the admin time you have to. And then busy season is 65 to 70 if you're pacing yourself and working it out correctly.
Yeah,
Yep,
because we already
absolutely. I had
talked
the
about
same
the
experience.
PTO and holiday stuff too, so you got to factor
Right.
that in.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't take time off, Donnie. Don't you remember? Like they don't approve
It's
it.
unlimited PTO.
It's trauma is locked in.
Yeah. But your 10 corporate holidays that are not real holidays.
Yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt. I mean, I left a firm that I worked for because of those exact reasons. The billable
Mm-hmm.
hour goal was through the roof, and review time showed up. And if you didn't meet that
Mm-hmm.
goal, you weren't, your career was not going to advance in what was already an obnoxiously long career path in order to get to
Mm-hmm.
partner.
Yeah. And it's still obnoxiously long. So one of my favorite red flags is, so I'm Jewish, and because I'm Jewish, every time there was an inventory count or something on the 25th of December, guess who did it? And every time it was like, well, you don't celebrate, so like you can do this, right? Like take one for the team. And I'm like, but I should get a corporate holiday too, right? Like some really interesting inventory counts on Christmas, I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, and that also can relate to, where the clients have too much influence or power within the firm. I can remember
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times, being required to work excessive hours or achieve some sort of specific budget or deadline because of an asshole client. And that was
Mhm.
tolerated in those firms.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like, encouraged even in a lot of ways because revenue is king. But now, as a partner in an accounting firm, I can tell you, I can say no. If a client is like, hey, we expect this to be performed between December 20th and January 3rd, I can say, no, my team deserves a break. Like, let them go on holiday and like finish their normal year-end stuff, and we'll do it in January or February, or we'll accelerate the time frame and you have to get organized. But no, like we will not perform this work Christmas week.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And,
And I'm
well, and
Jewish, so like clearly I don't care or celebrate, right?
Well, and how about your availability outside of work? I can remember, again, I'll give you another history lesson. The time when, mobile phones were starting to get issued in accounting firms, and now all of a sudden, because I had a mobile phone that was issued for the firm, I was supposed to be accessible 24 hours a day if somebody needed to reach out and talk to me.
Yep.
I would translate that into expected response times, right? Like what is there and
Sure.
do they actually allow you, not just say, but they actually allow you to have those boundaries?
Yeah. Or should you be responding to every email that comes in on a Saturday?
Right. Well, and you will be told one way or another. And they might say, oh yeah, it's fine. Like take your nights and weekends, whatever. Just don't worry about responding until Monday. But then when you don't respond and at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, they're like, hey, where is this? And you're like, I haven't even turned my computer on yet. So what? Like, can you give me some time to catch up? And the answer is no. Like, then you know the real truth. Like, that's the red flag, right? And I think also knowing that people can't like people can work whenever they want, right? So like your manager might be reviewing something at midnight or might be working on a weekend, and that's a personal choice, right? Like there may be situations where they do that. If that is every day and they don't have a modified schedule for some other family stuff going on, then like that's a red flag. And also setting those boundaries and being like, no, no, we're doing this, like that's normal and that's okay. And that was not allowed in the firms I worked for.
Oh, and in those firms, is one of their core values balance? While they're expecting you to be that responsive, I
Right.
think looking at those core values and seeing if those core values are anything more than just a couple words on the wall, and if those core values even are consistent with the place you want to work.
Right.
Well, that's
Yeah.
where I think you could really gotta ask and talk to the actual staff again, because it might be in accord, but is the firm actually living up to that? Or maybe ask like, how is the firm actually reinforcing these
Mhm.
core values?
They're
And
inspirational.
Right. And I had some really interesting personal experience with like modified schedules, for example. At a previous firm, I had a spouse who worked odd hours and weekends all the time. And so I requested to be able to come in late on Wednesday so that I could spend the mornings with them. And I was told that was a reduction in salary because I was not working a standard work week. Despite the fact I said, well, I will make it up on Saturday because they're working Saturday. So, like, I don't really care. Like, this is not a big deal to me to trade a morning out. And that was not approved without taking a salary cut. It was approved with a salary cut. That was the only option. So, when they say like flexible work arrangements, you got to ask, like, what does that mean? And does that mean a modified salary if it's not the standard? Well, as we learned, you have to have the 2,200 billable hours. So it's not really a standard 9 to 5. It's more like a standard 8 to 8, but, ask those questions.
All really great red flags. There's definitely a lot of things that, many years of scar tissue and seeing these things have, highlighted. And I think all really great advice for those who are exploring their options.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have any other red flags you want to talk about in detail, or can I go into tonight's top 10?
Let's do it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right. It's a good list, guys. All right. Number 10 has unlimited PTO policy, but won't approve any time off.
Check.
That's why it's unlimited. You can request as much as you want.
That's right.
Request. Right. Can't take.
Unlimited requests for PTO.
Number 9 provides dinner every night.
That's a great benefit. Why are we red flagging that?
Because they want you in the office. They're working late. It's the only way it's tax deductible.
Baked ziti every night. Come on.
My favorite is the really bad like Pizza Hut pizza.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, I don't want to eat that. All right. Number 8. The firm allows you to install email on your personal phone, or worse, issues you a company phone.
Game on. Love 2 phones in my pocket.
No, thank you. I do personally think that if you are the type of person that is like out and about in the world, it is fine to have your email on your personal phone because it makes you less anxious, but that is your choice, right?
Right.
Like, that's your choice in the way that you work and your habits. It should not be like a mandatory thing. And, a lot of times indicates that you're going to get a phone call when you're least expecting it. All right. Number 7 has hard work in the core values.
Great. Hard work. Number 1.
Yeah, hard work. That's a good one. The other one I've seen often is teamwork. But what they mean by that is, doing whatever your boss tells you to do. Yeah.
Or covering for your other team members that aren't carrying their weight.
Yeah, that too. Nice red flags. All right. Number 6 sends you a W-4 in PDF to fill out.
Probably scanned on the photocopier.
At least it's not paper. Well, maybe. All right. Number 5, your supervisor says, pay your dues when you bring up operational efficiencies.
Yeah.
Come on, pay your dues.
Yeah. Pay them.
Do more.
Or they launch into that story of when I was your.
Let me tell you about a time when I was on this horror project, and it's way worse than anything you've experienced. So thank me. I'll be here all night.
In a broom closet in the basement for many hours.
Yeah. Which brings me to number 4. People brag about pulling all-nighters.
Who doesn't? No doze all day long.
No, thank you.
It's in the cabinet in the kitchen. Just grab it. It's available.
And you wonder why the mortality rate in this profession is higher than others. That's why.
Free Red Bull.
That should be a red flag. Free Red Bull and highly caffeinated drinks in the company kitchen.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll add that into the list. All right. Number 3 has a return to office mandate.
Right. It's for culture. It's for team building purposes.
It's for teamwork. Yeah, absolutely. Also, in this day and age, it's because people haven't figured out how to manage remotely and they're too lazy to do it effectively.
Totally agree.
Or they haven't modified their compensation agreements to actually, provide compensation for value. And so it's, if you're not physically there working, then you're not being the right cog in the wheel. So, and we have to see it.
Unless you live in an area where I can pay you less. If you do that, then you can stay working remote.
Right. Yeah. Modified work schedule. You just get paid less. That's just how it works. Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Coming in at number 2, mandatory Saturdays.
You just said you wanted to work Saturdays on your work schedule.
I did.
Exactly right.
But I didn't want it to be mandated.
Oh, true.
Like, I didn't want a 6-day work week requirement. I just wanted to move a piece of a day, right?
But we've gone to half Saturdays, so that's improvement.
Half Saturdays. Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was at a firm that moved to half Saturdays while I was there.
Is half like you leave at 5 p.m. because you're normally there until like midnight?
Exactly. Yeah. But it was fun.
Okay.
No,
all right.
No dinner included. We lost the dinner benefit on that.
You
day.
lost dinner. So 5 p.m. meant you didn't get food. Got it. All right, guys. You ready for number 1?
Oh, boy.
Requires more billable hours than a standard work year. That's the top 10.
Crushed it.
Well, this has been a fun conversation about red flags, guys. I appreciate you digging into past corporate trauma so we can, elucidate the world about what happened.
I know. Now I'm all like Byron said, I think I gotta go meditate now. I'm like feeling all the tension in my body from talking about all that.
Light a candle, take some deep breaths.
Go take a bath, do some breath work. Yeah.
Just wash it off. Get rid of it. Yeah, I understand. But also, for those experiencing this in the real world in real time, please don't. And also tell us about it because it's funnier if we talk about it together. That's how you heal from trauma, right? You make fun of it?
Peer support. Change it into comedy.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I do.
It works.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for a wonderful conversation, and we will pick up next time.
Share your red flags in the comments.
The Center for Accounting Transformation provides business professionals with a network for utilizing innovations that are ready for adoption, the training and resources necessary to apply those innovations, and an opportunity to engage the talent and community needed to further the pursuit of innovative accounting practices that drive responsible and mindful business performance. Find out more at our website, www.improvetheworld.net. And if you're interested in sharing your own transformation stories, please contact us there.